Hey, what's going on, you guys? You already know it's your boy Jordan, the Don Adorno. And if you did not know, what an episode we all experienced last night. But before we deep dive into that, hence the reason behind this specific clip made for you guys, I would just like to bring to your guys' attention none other than the man right over here. This is from your guys' right, my left, whatever.
Your left.
You're this way.
Yeah, we got Adrian, and then right below me, right over here, we got none other than Samson. Now, unfortunately, we know it's not a full show as to what it was last week. Joe's out babysitting, and Eric is busy. So, I mean, it's just going to be us three. All right. So we are going to be deep diving into episode 4, Trespass of Monarch Legacy of Monsters season 2. Now, before I pull up the slides and stuff like that, I am curious. I would like to get a better understanding of, did you guys think that this was an improvement from last week's episode? I mean, I already know Samson already said it since he had just finished watching the episode, as he was also babysitting at the same time. He did admit that, this week's episode was night and day compared to last week's. But before I get to you, Sam, I would just like to ask Adrian, do you think that this was an improvement? Since you were one that was on behind the episode 3 banner of thinking that it was a good episode, did you think that this week's episode was far more stellar or night and day compared to last week's episode in a better way?
I wouldn't say night and day necessarily, but I would definitely say it was a more interesting episode that gave us a lot more storytelling for all Monarch. So I'm excited to see where we go for episode 5. So far, and like you mentioned, I did like episode 3, but at least as of right now, maybe the weakest out of all the episodes, even though I still enjoyed it. So I'm honestly looking forward to see what we get next, because we got a little bit of teasing, at the end of that episode, which we'll get into that in just a second.
And
But I'm excited to talk about this.
Absolutely, dude, and I couldn't agree more. Samson.
Yes, a big improvement from last week's episode, which as I stated, I felt it to be a little lackluster, and not a lot was thrown in our faces like I wanted it to be. And it felt like the mood got dulled way down with the romance aspect, which that's not for everybody, especially a lot of us here. But yes, this one picked up on the more technical side of things and moving the story and certain characters developing a little bit better. And there wasn't a lot of back and forth jumping through the timelines this time. We kind of just stuck with one setting, and I felt like that made the flow kind of cool and better. I don't mind so much when we bounce back and forth between past and present, but I think that it holds more. The story holds your attention better when you're focusing on just one singular thing going on, instead of like, oh God, now we're back in the 60s. Oh, okay, we're in 2050. Oh, is this another flashback to 2014 Godzilla? What's going on? So I feel like we're improving the flow of the show thus far.
Okay. Nice points. Now, before I continue to deep dive into just this specific episode, I did come up with a few slides. Are you guys ready to deep dive into specific topics that will be more in depth regarding the slides I made for you guys?
Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
So far we have received per episode, and it always tends to be like the first few minutes of the start of each episode. We've been getting more and more in-depth details to what is Titan X and what she can offer to the table. And we got that without a doubt at the start of this specific episode. The question I have for you guys is, what are your guys' thoughts overall with the build up for Titan X? Do you think that she's presenting to herself to be that menacing of a character, to be paired up with those like Godzilla and Kong and stuff like that, amongst a plethora of other Titans. Just, do you think the build up to the hype of Titan X has really been worth it as of what we have received now? I'm gonna start with Adrian.
So, as you know, as I've been saying all this season, I'm not really too upset about not getting a whole lot of monster action, because I mean, again, it's Monarch, like this is a legacy of monsters, but I mean, I was more expecting the story of Monarch versus seeing monsters every single episode. But when it comes to Titan Next, we're getting teased quite a bit now. I thought we are going to see a little bit more of Titan Next in this episode, which I'm going to go get more into that part a little bit later. But uh, we actually did see her finally do something and see that she actually can be a threat to humanity. So that's definitely a good thing that we finally did get that part of Titan X. At this point, I thought this be able to see a little bit more of her and think of how much of a threat can she be. We haven't really got that question answered yet, in my opinion.
Okay. Sammy.
Yes, at the beginning of said episode, she did finally do something that was threatening. And can we go ahead and just say what it is? Why are we holding off? This is a spoiler discussion.
Yeah, dude, go right ahead. Go right ahead, man.
Adrian didn't say it. I was like, wait, what? She summoned
well, I didn't say
that.
we were going to get to it. That's why. That's all.
No. This overall question is just pertaining to what Titan X had brought herself up to this specific episode.
Yeah. So right away, we had the surfers, and they go out and just like, hell yeah, dude, let's go, man, bros up. And then they were being warned by the Monarch, one of the ships out there. Guys, this is a Titan level zone. Don't come in here. And oh and behold, it took down the ship. They come ashore. I like the POV aspect. It was like a very miniature found footage film that we got to see the POV style. I love found footage horror movies, so I thought that was kind of an interesting concept that they implemented into the beginning of this, because it's kind of horrifying. They get to the beach and they just get absolutely swarmed by the scarabs, just like in Brendan Fraser's The Mummy, except 20 times as big. So yeah, Titan X, we still have no idea what her true abilities are yet, other than being able to summon the scarabs. They're either her children or a subspecies, or she has just the ability to control. I don't know what. We're still trying to figure it out. It's not been presented to us. They're bit by bit giving us a little bit, and she's a threat to the human race because they keep saying she is on the news. But we haven't seen that catastrophic, like, oh God, she can do that. Oh yes, we're screwed. So the build is happening. It's just it's slow. It's a slow burn because this is a TV show. We're not even halfway through. Next week we'll be finally halfway through, and maybe we'll be at the halfway point, see something super epic. But for now, we just know that she exists and she's a threat because she's an unknown Titan and we don't know what she's capable of.
Okay. You guys have all brought in pretty amazing points regarding the build up to Titan X. I'm gonna be honest, and I've said this pretty loud and proudly about Titan X when going back to our reaction trailer to season 2 of Monarch. I said that Titan X would be the first ever MonsterVerse Titan to really like capture my likeness to the originality of the concept of the idea of the specific character. And I was just hoping that, we would get a proper build up that would make me a much more larger fan of Titan X. And at least for me, I mean, yeah, sure, we're getting per episode some type of acknowledgement to Titan X, but it's just nothing has sitting well with me yet regarding her build up. Maybe it's something that I'm hoping that we get a few more minutes extra of instead of just like the first minute or two going into each episode. Like, I'm like, come on, you guys just can't stretch this out a little bit more, or even just periodically, like the way how they did episode 2. But that's just my opinion. It's everyone is different to their own opinions, and we respect them all. So that's just my overall thought regarding the build-up. But you guys had also brought in amazing points.
What are you wanting to see her do that will set you over the top? Like, oh man, this is it.
I mean, what she did in this episode was fine. I thought what she did in this episode was far more superb than I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this last night's episode was far more superb regarding her debut of the show, like her introduction, her first appearance to when Keiko and Lee first embraced her in the island.
In the
I feel like
past, right?
what she did, yes,
Yeah,
I
in
feel
the
like what
past.
she did was far more menacing, and we got a little bit more out of her lunging after people and specifically targeting them when she sunk the ship. I did like that.
Yeah.
I just want a little bit more ferocity, maybe. The Scarabs so far, they've been living up to the hype. All right. What they did to those two surfer bros, that was literally me at the start of the episode. So they are kind of doing them justice in the sense of like giving you that creepy crawly feeling, like, oh my God, like I wouldn't know what to do if that were to crawl up on me. And they've been doing the show justice. But as for Titan X, I'm expecting a little bit more. I know we're only 4 episodes in, but we'll see what happens in the near future as the show continues to progress.
I gotta say, my nephew was sitting there with me when he finally was calmed down, like he was in his "I need to take a nap" phase. And when the episode started, he was just laying there with me on the couch, being like, "What's that? What's that?" Godzilla. Like he can't really say Godzilla full out yet, but he saw the sign. Like there was a sign with a silhouette of Godzilla, and then he loves to say, "What happened? What happened?" when he sees something extreme happens. When the Scarab swarmed on those dudes, he was like, "What happened?" Like he was engaged, but then the human aspect of the episode picked up, and he was like, "All right." He bounced pretty quick.
Thus,
But even so he was ready. He was like, "I want to see more. Let's know what happened." He wanted it, just like we all do.
Thus, living proof that growing up watching these, we only cared for one thing, and that was these giant monsters. That was it. On to the next slide. The Comeback Kid. So this is specifically related to Kate. Last week's episode, we got her in a little bit of a she got herself in a little bit of a pickle, and she was extremely embracive regarding it, going through this depression phase and whatnot. And we got a little bit out of that in the start of last night's episode. But then she picked up that sign of recognition of, wait, if I did this, maybe I can do that. When one of her fellow students, his parents, recognized her and thanked her for basically being the one to actually stand 10 toes down during the attack on San Francisco, hence the reason why she still has her, son today. And you got to see that acknowledgement of, what, I can do this, So is this possibly going to be Kate's comeback story that could kind of rejuvenate, the fans to try to really embrace some type of liking of her? Because from my knowledge, I do know that there are a few people that have been very expressive regarding Kate, and most of the feedback has all been negative. Do you think that this is the comeback that Kate will be having going forward to truly get the fans to go on board with her? I'm gonna start off with Samson.
I hope so, because the whole whiny woe is me aspect is it's a trope that we've seen in other shows, and it's not attractive anymore. Those are for more dramatic, like I can't even explain what genre that would be part of, that it actually is a good thing. But no, yes, I want her to realize and recognize what has happened, and it is going to make her better. And it kind of seems like that's what happened. That beginning sequence where we did finally see her wake up from her hangover, do you think that was a dream sequence, her going in the water, or did she actually go in the water? What were y'all's thoughts on that? Because I was kind of like, is this actually happening, or is she like dreaming this, or is she? I couldn't actually pick up on if that was actually happening or like a dream sequence hallucination kind of situation for her. Because that seemed to be like her, like when she's floating underwater and looking around, you kind of saw the realization in her face of like, oh my God, I'm better, or I'm stronger, or I'm let's go. There was something in her face that changed, that wasn't the whole woe is me, I did everything, I unleashed Titan X, me.
I think that was more of a recognition of like, maybe that was done intentional. With such a very dark-minded, clouded mindset. Maybe she was trying to, you know, commit to something that would be very regretful on the long run, you know. So maybe that was just her just kind of waking up to her senses to basically be like, you know what, snap out of this. Let's just walk away from this and find a better way, you know, to try to resolve whatever issues I'm going through. You know, and that's probably when, you know, we see her, you know, walking as the city's being evacuated for another Titan thing and stuff like that. And again, going back to the recognition of like when she came across her old student, that's what opened her eyes to be like, you know what? If I had done this earlier, I would have never gotten the feedback or the recognition of that I am a good person just a few minutes afterwards, you know. So
That's
maybe
what
that
I was
was
going to
done
say.
intentionally.
I was going to
I
say
feel like
that
that.
when at first when she bumped into the mom, the mom recognized her and she was like, oh yes, my son was on the bus when you were on the bridge. I was like, oh no, now she's gonna feel bad again. But
Yeah,
then the kid got out of the car, teenage kid, and she was like, oh, it's one of the ones that got off. It was like, oh, so I forget because it's been so long. Did the bus go down with some kids or did she get everybody off? I now honestly don't remember.
there were a few that
Didn't
unfortunately
make
did
it.
not make it off that bus.
Okay, see, that's where my brain was going. I was like, oh no, was the mom gonna be like, was the mom about to be like, it's your fault, you? But no, it went full 360. It made Kate feel confident about herself again, that she does have the ability to change and affect the outcome of certain situations for the better. And in all this catastrophicness that is the world of the Monsterverse, she affected a life, and it meant so much with that warm embrace. So I think that her character development is coming along, and I would like to see how empowering that she's going to take it from here instead of what we saw in previous iterations of her personality.
Mm-hmm. Adrian.
I'm gonna have to agree with Samson. I believe that we are gonna try to start getting some more better storytelling with Kate, because especially when she went to the water, she did seem like she was able to sense Titan X. So there is so once she knows there's a way that she can help and hopefully put a stop to this impending catastrophe. But at the same time, being reminded that she was able to say some of the truth on that bus really reinvigorated her and gave her that will and that fight again to do what she has to kind of protect the people that she loves and that need her help, especially since she had all that guilt of, oh no, I released Titan X. I need to go help them figure this out. Even with that crushing her mom, she still felt that it was time for her to handle her responsibilities and help solve the issue.
Now you guys brought amazing points. I'm one that also agree, you know, with each and every single one of you guys. Hopefully that this does justify Kate's character a little bit more in this entire show, because I made my opinions loud and clear last season.
You don't say.
And
I think we all did, to be honest.
so maybe, you know, with, you know, this show still being, or this season still being early and fresh and still somewhere in the beginning, slowly segueing into the middle part of the show, maybe, you know, the show had recognized that. Maybe the producers, the writers, they have recognized that. And they're like, you know what? She is technically, outside of the monsters, she is the main character of the show. You know, so we really got to try to give her that recognition and try to have people on board with her to make the show a little bit more satisfying. God forbid if this is going to be, you know, the last season, if that. But you guys had all brought in amazing points, and I'm glad that, you know, we're all on the same page regarding the comeback kid that is Kate.
Hey, Jordan, I got
Even
one
the
more
end.
point to bring. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh
Go
yeah,
ahead, Samson.
I was going to say, even the end of the episode, the little heartfelt embrace that she had with Lee Shaw, like when they came face to face with each other after just her going missing since the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
So she basically she saved him, and then she's just been gone. And they have that little kind of sort of father-daughter relationship. I don't know if you want to call it that, but she saved him. So, and he saved her. They've saved each other. and they got that little daw moment at the end of last night's episode. So
yeah.
So that was something else. I know that was because we didn't see her for the majority of last night's episode until the end, including what we just discussed about the embrace with the mom on the bridge.
Were you going to say something, Adrian?
Yeah.
Yes, I was gonna actually had a very accurate comparison. If y'all have seen the anime Neon Genesis Evangelion, Jordan knows exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that's why he does it like Kate, because she reminds me so much of the main character in that show. And we know he never got a redeeming arc at all. If you've seen the show, if you see it's an amazing show, it's a depressing show. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But Kate and him in that show are mere images of each other. It's very depressing watching it. Am I wrong, Jordan?
No, you're not. All right. Going on to the next slide. Like father, like son. So something that I have noticed a lot from the start of season 2, we've gotten a lot of Hiroshi embracing a lot with Kentaro, his son. And this episode, in my opinion, that their relationship definitely had confirmed to me that maybe it's looking like, at least in my eyes, that Kentaro is trying to, take on the shoes that is, Hiroshi's in his role with trying to find the answers and make Monarch the way how it should be. Granted, also take into consideration, where was Hiroshi last seen before he went missing? He was with Kentaro and his mom out in Japan. So maybe it's also because the relationship is still a little bit more fresh compared to his and Kate's, but nonetheless, they are having a much more dynamic bond in this season, and last night's episode definitely confirmed that for me a little bit. So, do you think, the question I have for you guys, do you think that Kentaro will be able to fill in his father's shoes for Monarch? I'm going to start off with Adrian.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to say honestly, because as boys, we all try and grow up to be just like our dads growing up, and we don't. And right now, I guess we're trying to figure out what Kataro's story is. Does he want to be just like his dad? Does he want to take on that mantle of being in Monarch and being one of the head guys in Monarch? So I guess really it's gonna be whatever his story arc's gonna be moving forward, to see if he's going to be just like his father. And if he wants to be just like his father, what steps are he going to take to get to that next step, to get to that step where he can be more like his father? Because as you mentioned, their relationship has grown a lot. Not to mention what we didn't see the 2 years Kate and them were gone. That's one thing we got to remember too. So we don't know what Katara and his father have been up to in that 2 years, but we can clearly see that they have built this relationship and bond where there's a possibility that he may try and be just like his father. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Nice. Sammy.
This is kind of the part where I need to go back and rewatch because I was halfway babysitting while I was watching the episode today. That's why I didn't watch it last night. I saw that they broke into, like, the main plot of the episode was breaking into the Apex facility and trying to get to what is the name of the device? I can't remember. The orb. I'll just call it the orb. Trying to get to the orb and figure things out. And even when he hopped out of the car to like sabotage what's her face's vehicle, our God, I can never remember everybody's name. When not Kate, the mom, that's now younger than her own son.
Yeah, Kate.
Wait. Anyway, when she said,
I know what you're talking about. The lady that's basically in charge of so far running what's going on in Apex and stuff like that.
No. The far right hand corner chick.
Yes, Kay.
Oh, Keiko.
Yeah, Keiko.
Keiko. You're saying K, and I'm like, never mind. Okay,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
That's a nickname. Jesus.
when she acknowledged to the son, being like, "Oh, he wants to make you proud," and he's like, "Oh, I am proud." So they're kind of touching on that little touchy feely aspect of things with the father son dynamic that they have. But again, kind of only halfway paid attention to the middle portion of the episode today, so I need to go back and see exactly what they got accomplished or not accomplished when they broke into the Apex facility to get to the almighty orb.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think it's also safe to say, regarding the previous question pertaining to Kate, Kentaro is another character that tends to have a negative feedback. So they're probably maybe trying to capitalize on that, pairing him a little bit more with Hiroshi, since he was the main embodiment and the mystique of season 1 regarding whether he's going to be alive or not, him following Godzilla and so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. Which Hiroshi is still a very interesting character. I've mentioned it during the start of this season. I've been very curious to see what he can bring to the table and to see, Kentaro paired with him. It's, drawing my likingness to Kentaro, the character. So maybe that is all done intentionally, again, with the recognition that these characters have had a bad name or have had a bad rep amongst the fans. So maybe that's, all within good intentions. Next slide I have quoted by one of the best Godzilla movies of all time in GMK. It's like a monster convention here. So obviously the main complaint that we've had last episode was the lack of Titans. Not saying that this episode did any better, but they did give us a much more wider variety to choose from regarding the new monsters that we were able to see and a few returning ones. So did you guys think, with the little few monsters that we have received, just overall, what are you guys' thoughts on it? I remember watching it last night, and the entire vibe that I got from this was Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, man.
Held them captivated, and then they had to free them to try to draw some type of distraction. I don't know if that was done intentionally to try to, spread some type of embodiment or recognition to that, maybe an homage. But what are you guys' thoughts on the newer monsters that we were introduced to? Adrian.
Those are some interesting creatures we got honestly, especially the one that they couldn't release as well. Of course we don't have the name of any of these monsters, but I mean, well, actually no, 'cause I think one of them was called the bird that had the needle something, but I forgot what the name was.
I just called it the terror bird.
The one that they let out.
Yeah. The one they let out. It's needle something. I can't remember what it is. Find it. But yeah, but either way, those are pretty cool to see. It's cool that we got the little bird titan that we've seen in. I'm trying to remember which movie that came from. I know it's in one of the movies, but I'm blanking right now.
Skull Island.
Yeah, thank you. It wasn't the little bird in Skull Island. That was pretty cool that we saw one up close and personal. So we didn't get a whole lot of Titan slash monster action, but the ones that we did get, it was nice. It was nice. It was a good palate cleanser.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Samson.
All right, I'm fast forwarding to see if I can figure out what they called the damn things. But yeah, the different not kaiju, but now we had just the monsters themselves, them collecting them, and you nailed it. I was like, yes, this is very Jurassic Parky. Them taking them off the island. Yes, both Fallen Kingdom and the Lost World Jurassic Park, where they're when they're still on the island, but still they're collecting them. But yes, the needle birds that were crammed in there. Then you had the razor nose ones, the ones that slice people into pieces. And then you had whatever that God knows what it was that was hanging out on the ceiling, throwing up bones of, I hope not people. But yeah, we got a little bit more monster action, much more than last night for sure. Last week, the scarabs attacking at the very beginning was cool, just to show that they're a threat. And yeah, the fact that we're getting this whole vibe of, okay, they're collecting the creatures for what purpose? Well, spoiler alert, what we saw when May's, it's her sister, right? Her older sister, when May's sister, the one that runs Apex.
I,
Is that who she?
I believe so. I believe that is her role in the show. Yes.
Well, when we got into that little laboratory and she showed May, she was like, I want to show you something. How they're wanting to control these things. But that leads what's the bigger picture here? Why are they wanting to control it? Well, we kind of sort of know where that's going, but at the same time, maybe it's not what we think at all. Maybe it's not the whole controlling device for Mechagodzilla. Maybe it's actually them wanting to figure out how to control Titan X. Oh man, are we going to control Titan X? And the what's her face is going to go crazy and do some. I can do whatever I want because is she going to be power hungry and control Titan X and then kind of pull whatever 180 on what we all thought was going to happen? Because that was interesting. I was like, they put a little organic thing and it looked like it was embedded in the back of the little razor bird's neck. So yeah, controlling Titans. That's I mean, that's the Orca, so, but different because it's directly on the back of its neck. Actually, Adrian, go ahead because I'm just I'm stammering at this point.
I have a theory. That's why it popped in my head.
No, go before you forget it because I hate when I think of something. I'm like, oh, I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, really quick, Adrian, before you go, does this pertain to May and Apex?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Not this time. That was last week. But kind of the whole. So I guess we're going to touch into this too. So of course I know how they kind of put on that ruse that Titan X was going to San Francisco and everything. What if they're trying to control Titan X to actually cause the disaster to happen? So the government has to pay Apex to build Mechagodzilla to protect everyone from Titans.
That is something I thought about while I was watching it.
Yeah, it makes sense because from the way the whole episode it's just the math is mapping. The math is mapping.
All right, now really quick. I mean, I know you just brought up a topic that didn't pertain to the next question, but we did just recently, just now, went in depth with specifically May and Apex. So now the next question I have for you guys is, since we all know the main objective that May had when she stepped into one of the facilities that Apex was undergoing, and it was basically to infiltrate whatever was going on. I mean, hence the reason why the episode is called Trespass. And towards the end, while the entire gang basically got what they wanted out of trespassing inside this facility, May was the one that decided to sit back and just figure out what are the next steps that Apex may continue to move forward with. Is this a sign that maybe May is going to stick around with Apex? Maybe is it true that what Adrian said early on last week's episode and what even Eric said, that maybe this is the stem to her being the ultimate blueprint behind that of Mechagodzilla? What are you guys' thoughts with May wanting to stick back with Apex? Starting off with, I guess, Adrian.
I mean, I'm not proven right yet, but it's getting close. The fat lady's warming up her vocals. Even though I didn't think May was gonna stick with Apex this early. I thought it was gonna be closer towards the end of the season, honestly. So I know right now she kind of wants to see if Apex's plan will work to get Titan X. I get that, but when is that gonna lead to her? You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna make Godzilla, or I'm gonna finish help making the Orca. When at what point are we gonna get to that? When are we gonna start seeing that? Again, I thought it was a little too early for her to stick with them, but it's brings up something more interesting to the story now. It has my head kind of thinking and has the wheels turning. See, what is she actually gonna do now that she's for sure there?
Right. Sam.
Well, remember, she is supposed to be a double agent, so I don't think her intentions are truly pure for it's not that she's like becoming the bad guy and absolutely trying to be part of Apex. Now that her sister is showing her, oh, we're trying to control creatures, I think she's sitting back and she's playing the double agent aspect of things, and she's still working her way into the inner workings of things so that she can gain as much knowledge as possible. But there could be a twist where she turns to the dark side and becomes the evil that her sister wants her to become. That kind of seems like, because the sister's working her pretty hard. She keeps showing her all these things and teasing all these aspects about Apex, and then keeps shoving that whole, we need your expertise, we need your formula, we need your data. And she's really shoving it and pushing it so that May will surrender to that. Yeah, the older sister is a gatekeeper, or not gatekeeper, gaslighter. She's a gaslighter for sure. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and watch and see, because it's almost very obvious that May has some sort of influence with Apex taking the lead and getting to be more powerful and be able to do more. Like she's gonna give them some sort of data that they need, or they're gonna get it out of her, and that's gonna be the push that's gonna make Apex more powerful towards the Mechagodzilla aspect of Godzilla vs. Kong, because that's already beknownst to all of us. We just need to have that final key to unlock everything.
Adrian, looks like you have something to say.
Something just popped in my head. I've been talking about her controlling Mechagodzilla, but I forgot something. They have the builder controls to control King Ghidorah also. So
yeah, the Orca.
No, not the Orca. The machine that takes King Ghidorah's brainwaves. That cell Zawa was in Godzilla X Call before Mechagodzilla went berserk. That's I think that he's not gonna make the Orca. I think he's gonna make that actually, because they're trying to learn to control Titans. And granted, King Ghidorah is dead. They still have that technology to control the Titans. That's how they're gonna be able to control the brainwaves to tell Zawa down the road.
I'm so lost with the timelines. So is this taking place after King of the Monsters? So those
Before
events,
King of the Monsters.
So this is before. So King Ghidorah is not even dead yet. So why would
not
they?
Yet.
All right, I think I see where you're. Okay, I see what you're saying now. So what's going to happen is the technology that is going to be used to make the controller inside of the King Ghidorah head is what is maybe going to be under development in this season. Correct. Because Godzilla vs. Kong that movie alone was already the building of Mechagodzilla. That's because that was like the tease at the beginning of the movie when Godzilla destroyed that base and we saw the big old eyeball inside of the destroyed building. So that was the building of Mechagodzilla. So what this is going to be is the building of the technology that can be implemented into that head of Ghidorah, so that blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
You're a genius.
So, Adrian, I mean, you're sticking to your guns, thinking that May is going to be the one responsible for such a creation.
I am, and I'm doubling down on it now. I'm almost ready to put money on it.
Her technology is what's going to pave the way for that being coming to fruition.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to stick on the May topic. I mean, I know Adrian enjoys the character that May is being portrayed in the show. I think the ones that made our opinions loud and clear regarding so far the human casts have been those like me, Eric, Joe, and even Sam. So, I mean, my question to you, Sam, would be, if that would be the route that they do go with May, would that change your opinion regarding the character with such a dynamic change, if that would be the route that they go in with May? Would that change your depiction of the character?
She'll have more importance in the long run if that's the case, because so far it's just been in the first season, it was that love triangle thing, and it was just like, oh god. And she was just kind of a boring, dull character, just a hipster that was along for the ride. But now, if she actually has a hand in the world building, as Joe keeps saying throughout our episodes, yeah, I think I'll lean a little, not a whole lot, but I'll lean a little bit more towards okay, she's not as dull and the most I want her to be the one that's funerals happening in this season character.
Oh,
Samson,
supposed to be a scene.
Jesus.
Well, if they're even going to do a scene like that.
No, well, from the trailer, we don't know. We're just
Yeah.
we assume because we're all like, oh, they're all dressed in black and they all look sad. Somebody's gonna bite the dust.
Maybe.
Stop it. Jesus. Samson. Oh, Lord.
All right. So now the next question I have pertains to something that
It's gonna be May.
it definitely pertains to something that I was extremely loud and proud about last week's episode, or at least regarding my opinion about it. And that's what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So
what happens in Axis Monday stays in Axis Monday.
So I mean, we're all very much a part of the known regarding this statement. So of course, this is going directly to once again Lee Shaw and Keiko having some type of thing going on, because Keiko's a Jezebel and all of that. And last week's episode we got Bill, hashtag Team Bill Randa recognized that there is a letter written to Lee by Keiko. And we got her narrating throughout the letter and stuff like that as she was writing it to Lee. And we've never seen if Bill had ended up reading it. But at the end of this episode, instead of Bill or them revisiting that specific scene where Bill did open up that letter, it was actually Hiroshi who ended up taking all the research that his dad had ended up working so hard for within all those decades ago. And he finally gets to be able to open that letter and read to what his mom had written to Lee. The question I have for you guys in this one, because I know last week's episode we did deep dive in, dip our toe in regarding this topic. What is it that you guys think would be what was the last thing written, or what would be the how do you say, the most climactic part of this specific letter that Keiko wrote to Lee? I'm gonna start with Sammy.
I don't know. For some reason, my prediction is that, and maybe I'm just not following the timelines of things very well. My prediction, because of the fling that happened in the past, Bill's not his dad. Lee is. That's something that I've been thinking for the longest time, ever since the fling that I was like, oh, she was with two daddies at the same time.
Yeah.
Which one? So I've been predicting that, but then again, maybe I'm missing some portions of season 1 that actually prove my theory wrong. But I'm like, is Lee the real father? Lee, you are the father. So I want to see if I want to see that episode of whatever that court show is, whether we get the big reveal or not, if that's what's going on.
Adrian,
like telling Lee, hey, by the way, you're the kid, it's yours, not Bill's. That's since she wrote it to Lee. So that's yeah. Sorry,
Adrian.
go ahead.
I feel like we did talk about this last week that Kay's son isn't Billy's either. I think she already had him before she met Billy, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back and watch up season one. Don't quote me on that. I'll go back and double check. But
Yeah.
basically, uh, I mean, kind of just what she kind of said already. That she does love Lee, but Billy has her heart. But at the end of the day, um, and now I'm forgetting people's speaking name. I still get Hiroshi. I think I said his name right.
Yeah,
He just
Hiroshi.
found out his. Thank you, Hiroshi. He basically just found out that his mom was a floozy, just like he is. Simple as that.
So, I mean, I'm still Team Bill. I'm gonna
I
throw it
got
right
you.
there at the bottom. Hashtag Team Bill. So yeah, you guys know what side we're siding with here at MWA. But not gonna lie, watching at least how last night's episode ended, I'm like, there's no way that Lee is the dad. He has to be the dad. And I'm also taking other elements regarding his relationship with the main casts, specifically Kate, obviously Kentaro, even when, they would end up finding Hiroshi towards, the end portion of season one of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Lee had that type of recognition or response regarding just, oh my goodness, I haven't seen a loved one, a family member, a specific loved one from the family in quite some time. And he's very embracive regarding it. As mentioned earlier throughout this clip, Samson, you brought it up. The relationship that Lee and Kate have, it definitely has grown a lot. And that was pretty much already something that was established in season one, but maybe it's also because, he knows that those are his grandchildren.
Mm.
So of course, taking advantage of that, he just wants to be able to embrace it, because who would have ever thought that he would ever come across them ever in life? So now he's probably taking advantages of that now, especially with Keiko in the picture, despite the huge age gap and stuff like that. But we all know the reason why behind that. Then now he's probably taking initiative of his role as possibly being Hiroshi's dad and Kentaro and Kate's grandfather. So the juice is getting juicy, I tell you that much. So
Oh, juicy.
we all know if Joe was here, like, oh my boy.
That's right. My boy.
My boy.
Now, to end everything off, of course, just our overall thoughts regarding this specific episode, or just even we can even go back and forth regarding what we'd want to expect in next week's episode. I'm still gonna go for it. I'm hoping that we still get to see Godzilla. I thought I was going to see him in this episode since the last week's episode took place in Japan. I thought we were going to get a little bit of that here in this week's episode, and we're going to get the big reveal of the big G, the G man, and we got nothing. We even had no recognition or any acknowledgement of Kong. Which, I mean, I don't care because I'm not Team Kong. But outside of all of that, it is safe to say, at least from my perspective, this episode was definitely night and day compared to last week's. Although there were some similarities regarding the character development, the world building and all that mumbo jumbo stuff, but there was less drama, less romantic smushy face type of stuff. Although I'm not against it, it just has to be done properly. But this was an episode I was able to sit back and just be like, okay, now I really can't wait for next week's episode, because this ended off in a very huge cliffhanger, and also, from start to end, it was appealing to me. So yeah, again, just what are your guys' overall thoughts of episode 4, Trespass of Monarch Legacy of Monsters season 2? I guess I'll ask Adrian before Sam, since I know, Samson, you just watched the episode and you're babysitting, so I'm just gonna shoot it with Adrian and ask him, what are your overall thoughts, buddy?
Overall, honestly, it's probably the second best episode in the season, not the
Oh,
series, but season so far. Uh, I think season 2, episode 2 is probably the best one for the season so far, and then this is honestly right behind it because again we got more of that world building that we asked for last week. We was talking about the show, so definitely happy that we got some more world building. We got a little bit more on exactly what's going on, and the pieces are coming together. And as always, life finds a way.
Okay.
Finds.
Sammy.
I loved. This is something we haven't touched on yet. I loved what Kurt Russell did for this episode. We got kind of the rugged, nitty gritty, 1980s style Kurt Russell with him going into that bar with his Hawaiian shirt, starting up trouble in a fist fight, like just getting into his old 1980s ways of a very Big Trouble in Little China way of doing things. And I thought that was great. Just getting our old Kurt Russell back into action again at the ripe old age of infinity. So it's and yes, the flow was very awesome because I'll tell you what it gave off. It gave off Showa era vibes where our lead heroes are having to breach the bad guys' headquarters and do some, like, they have to Scooby-Doo this stuff. Almost said something else. They have to Scooby-Doo it and break in without getting caught, and then do some mischievous things. Very much like in the Astro Monster or like Gigan when they infiltrate the Godzilla Tower and like do some secretive stuff. So I thought it was fun. The flow was better than last week's. And Adrian, you're right. I think this is the second best episode of the season. I was going to say episode 1 is the best and this one is second best. And then episode 2 would be third. And then, yeah, last week's is so.
Oh, God.
I'm liking the flow of things. I'm liking that we're getting a little bit more into the Apex aspect of things, because Apex is playing a very big role in this season, and we're finally getting some behind the scenes stuff behind them instead of just being thrown into the mix like we did in Godzilla versus Kong. So we have to build up how they became what they became in G versus Kong. But yeah, I want to see Godzilla. Hurry up, damn it. Darn it. Jeez. Something.
We're on the same boat with that. What do you guys want to expect next week's episode? What do you guys thoughts is going to happen next week's episode? Adrian.
More Titan X. I'm gonna be simple. I'm not gonna ask for a lot. Just a little bit more Titan X, because again, we still don't know what her abilities are. We still don't know. We know she's a threat now, but how much of a threat is she, and why is she a threat? Is it gonna be her? Or is it gonna be the scare episode the reason why she's gonna be a threat to society? I'm trying to figure out what it's gonna be, and I want to see how awesome she's gonna be. I know we all want Godzilla. I know. We all at the halfway mark. There's a strong possibility we might get Godzilla in this next episode, but I'm not going to put all my heart and soul into that. I will right now because I'm fine with Godzilla just yet. But at least give us more Titan X. I want to see what she's all about and what she can do, what she's capable of.
Sam.
Something also we haven't really touched on. This is kind of ignoring your question almost. That whole situation towards the end of the episode where it turned out like they were being tricked. The signal that was being sent out saying that Titan X was coming to shore. Oh no, what's going to happen? It was fake. It was
I did bring that
not.
up.
We did. I must have not.
Yeah, I brought that up.
Clearly not paying attention. Okay. Well, still. So Apex being the backstabbers that they are, let's see where that goes and their involvement. I want to see what their plans are in reference to what they're going to do with Titan X, because it seems like it's becoming clear they want to try to control her with the whole little back of the razor, whatever bird's neck thing. They want to control the big Titans. They want to control more than just little tiny razor birds for about 30 seconds, because that was the thing. It only lasted 30 seconds. And then their aggression came back. I don't know if we'll get Godzilla next week, because remember, we have to go all the way back to Tokyo, because that was that's what we saw in the trailer. So we know that we have to go back to Japan first. So yes, I'm ready to see some stuff. If I remember correctly, in season 1, the halfway mark being episode 5, we did finally get to see Godzilla, and it was like, oh my god, yes, finally. So maybe tomorrow we will get, or next week we will get that mwah factor and finally get our satisfaction on.
Yeah, chef's kiss. So we also have talked a lot about, or at least Adrian has definitely brought it up a lot in this specific episode deep dive, is Titan X's abilities. If given the opportunity, Adrian, what would you want her abilities to be?
Give me something I've never seen before. Got a lot of stuff, a lot of abilities from kaijus. We got gravity beams, chainsaw for hands, speaking poison dust. We have so many things with so many different kaijus already. Give us something we've never seen before.
That is such a cop-out response, bro.
Oh my god.
Sam,
I'm just ready to see how she's going to throw down being a water-based kaiju, because we saw a snippet of that when she took down the carrier at the beginning of the episode, when she took the ship down. So we know the apes don't like water. So her facing off with Kong, that's going to be bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned that before. I think it was last week, actually. But yeah, let's see what happens. Let's get Kong in the water, or Kong defending his territory, and let's see what she does. I have a very strong feeling that she can direct the scarabs to do whatever she wants to do. So they're going to be a problem because, I mean, come on, a bunch of little termite things crawling all over you, biting you. Jordan, you know what it's like to get bit. So it's not going to be fun. I want to see what she did. Yeah, her abilities, I don't know what I expect, because we've seen it all. We've seen the gravity beams. We've seen the regenerating limbs. I don't know. I don't know what I expect. I just expect something, because so far we've just been building up to Titan X is going to come ashore. What's going to happen? Oh, nothing in this episode. All right, we got to wait till next week.
Well, I'll throw my opinion out there. I think she's going to present us with some type of psychic ability. Hence the reason why the scarabs are so attracted to her. And you notice that, they light up the same light that she would emit, or vice versa. And then obviously we've talked about this since the start of season 2. There's been some odd connections between Keiko and Kate regarding Titan X, and how they're the only ones that really get the sense of Titan X is here. So maybe it's Titan X using her psychic abilities to those that she knows she's able to manipulate, almost in a sense. Maybe that would be a segue of her trying to commit that type of maneuver to Godzilla, and then Godzilla just be like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Cut it out, and then just do what Godzilla normally does. And same thing with Kong, since we know Kong is a stubborn Titan as well. He would not tolerate such a thing, but that's just me putting my 2 cents into what I think her ability would be. I guess what would fit her the most so far.
Titan X is the father.
Oh my god.
Hashtag
That's
Billy.
That's why the family can feel all this weird stuff. It's the father.
Hey. Anything can happen in Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
Well, I mean, Emperor Palpatine came back for no good reason in the late Star Wars movie.
Oh my god. No, we're not doing
Emperor
that.
Palpatine is back. Why? Just because. Okay.
Anyways.
Titan X can impregnate people.
Oh my god.
Well, other than that, I do appreciate you guys sitting back with me to be able to just deep dive a little bit into episode 4, Trespass of Monarch Legacy of Monsters season 2. I think it's safe to say that, we did enjoy this episode. At least, speaking on behalf of Adrian, he has been enjoying the show so far, as opposed to me and Sam. We've had our opinions be brought out to your guys' attentions, especially regarding last week's episode. But this was a pretty fun episodic episode. I will admit that. But of course, before we close today's analyst deep dive discussion type of video, of course, we cannot go without mentioning our beloved friend who is in need of help, and he is none other than Marcellus Winters. You guys have already been well aware that we have created a GoFundMe page for Marcellus and his family, because they had just recently had underwent a very tragic event, losing their house through a very scary fire incident. And unfortunately, in the process, they had also lost their beloved dog Simba, which is just a tragic. And of course, by us creating this GoFundMe page, the Godzilla community, if not just the Godzilla community, but just the Winters community definitely came aboard. And what you see right there is an actual screenshot of what we have had saved up for Marcellus right now. And our new and current goal is to reach $20,000 to be able to donate to Marcellus and his beloved family. So even if you guys watching this cannot donate, but you guys know people that will be willing to help and will be willing to spread the love and joy to really make Marcellus and his family, get back on their feet, that'd be very much appreciated. Right below this video in the description will be our link tree, and you guys will be able to have access to be able to click onto the GoFundMe page and donate to whatever it is that you'll be able to just spread love for. Because I don't know about any of you guys, but I know I've been up to date, chopping up with Marcellus, and he admits it, every day is a challenge, but stuff like this is what keeps him going. And that is saying a lot, because since knowing Marcellus, all I've ever seen this man do was just bring nothing but love, joy, laughter, smile, just the most positive individual that I've known within these past few years.
Absolutely.
And to have majority of just our community come together for him, if that doesn't speak volumes in and of itself, to define how much of a great person Marcellus is, then I don't know what else would. I know I've donated. I know Adrian's donated. I know Samson has donated. Joe's donated. Eric has donated. We at MWA, despite us embracing nothing but attitude, we also embrace nothing but love to Marcellus and his entire family. So again, go ahead, go to the description, click the link tree, and donate and spread the love. Also, before we close this off, towards the end of this month, which is right around the corner, it is our 2025 figure of the year. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. How many people I am going to make mad, because there's no way that so far what we received in the voting polls, what you guys think will be figure of the year is actually what's looking like is going to be the ultimate winner, but I am not going to leave that to lit.
I haven't checked yet. Oh man.
But I will be the one to admit that we have had a huge traction regarding everyone chiming in and putting their votes in for 2025 figure of the year. I will also be the first to admit that by the time this video is uploaded this weekend, this voting poll will actually automatically close. So if you guys haven't yet, vote, especially if you specifically want to see your figure possibly win that of figure of the year. All right. It is a tradition that we have had here at MWA for quite some time, and we were the originators. There's been no one else that came up with that, and if so, they did it only because we were the originators. All right. So this is just a friendly reminder, to chime in on the 29th of this month to see the final results of what is truly 2025's figure of the year.
Condor.
Of the year.
Listen, at this point, it's looking like it.
That would be hysterical. All right. Yes, that was fun. Thank you for hosting, Jordan.
No problem. And again, thank you guys for coming on board. This was a very fun deep dive discussion regarding this episode. And yeah, I can't wait for next week already. All right.
I know. This whole living in the 90s thing, waiting week to week thing sucks.
Oh, dude, it's a stretch, but you know what? It for at least for me, it gives me a reason to look forward to next week.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean,
And the
especially coming
nostalgia
back
of
from
it.
work, having a get seen in the hospital because a patient wanted to take a chunk out of my arm. So doing this was definitely like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy I'm home. I get to do this, have fun, hang out with my boys, and all that other mumbo jumbo stuff. But of course, thank you for anyone chiming into this, and just always embracing nothing but attitude and showing us love here at Monsters with Attitude. We would not be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. All right. And by just doing us a solid, please, besides just subscribing to our YouTube channel, go ahead and click on all of our socials. Follow us on all of our socials. We have Instagram. We have obviously our Facebook group. We also have Twitter. We have TikTok. We are on Twitch. You name it, we are there. All right. And of course, said by none other than the GOAT, the captain, the man that we will never question ever. And that is Captain Gordon. Don't be a hoe. Share the show. All right. But also,
What do you know?
more importantly, there is a phrase that we live by here at Monsters with Attitude. All right. And that phrase is one phrase, actually, just one phrase with three simplistic words. And that is just to simply embrace
the attitude.
Later, everyone.
Wow.